I mean, people argue about this. That's the first observation. What happens, I think, when globalisation comes, or globalisation increases. I mean, globalisation has been, there's been at least 4 waves that some people identify, and the last one, this current wave, starts around 1980 something and comes to about now 2008 and has started to decrease as when the last global financial crisis, which stopped or reduced financial flows. But during that time, there was greater concern for economic competitiveness that shaped education policies to make it easier for people to move between economies, between cultures, between geographies. But and that led to a certain consistency of a focus on problem solving, communication skills, math, science, things that are not culturally referenced so much. And while that happens, and while that creates a tendency towards homogeneity in desired attributes, it also encourages people to turn inwards and look at their own identity. And so while you have a concern for languages of communication, a desire for many people to learn English, to be highly competent in teamwork and problem solving, etc., you also get a deepening interest in local identity. And in some cases, that's actually led to the fragmentation of states.
Right.
And with the collapse of the Soviet Union, you suddenly went from an amorphous entity to 26 or so states. East Timor broke away from Indonesia. Yugoslavia broke into its constituent parts. And even within nations, you got people asserting their identity because they depended upon the social safety net and the personal identity of their community, their religious group, their caste, their extended family. And so you got a desire to connect to the human capital market, which is a global market, and balancing that is a desire to connect to the social capital market, which is very local. It's your extended family, essentially. It's really where it plays out most graphically is language policy.
Right. Okay.
So what is the language or languages of instruction? And so when the Republic of South Africa rejected apartheid, you went from a language where the dominant language was Afrikaans to, I think, is 10 or 11 official languages. And there is, even today, a debate about whether you can have an Afrikaans dominant institution of higher education in Stellenbosch. That's a debate that's actually happening this week. And in other nations, you say, no, we want the language of instruction to be Bahasa because it is an integrating language that allows us to assert a common identity. In others, you say, no, we want to be bilingual. Or in the case of Kazakhstan, where I work sometimes, they've adopted a trilingual education policy. The challenges of having trilingual instruction are just immense. I'm not a fan of TIMS, so we should be right up front about that.
Okay.
Having said that I'm not a big fan of TIMS, it actually offers you some very interesting insights into how teachers do their work.
Right.
If you forget the rankings that get generated from TIMS and you look at the teacher behaviour and the teacher practices, which is all captured in TIMS, which you can find on the TIMS database, which even an idiot like me can actually do comparative analyses of. Because they even do the statistical tests of significance for you if you just enter the variables. You find really interesting observations about the centrality of homework, how much time teachers spend in group assignments and local assignments. If you use that sort of much more nuanced observation, much more nuanced data that's actually about the life of a classroom or the life of a school, yes, you can actually get thoughtful policy rather than, oh, my heavens, we're 26th out of whatever the number is on science. We clearly need to spend more time on science. Probably not. You need to spend the current allocation of time on science more effectively, and you might do that by having laboratory work or teamwork or group work or more homework.
It opens up the black box.